I still remember the taste of rainwater and cigarette ash. That metallic, bitter drip that would slide off a broken gutter into the cracked styrofoam cup I used as a drinking glass. It was disgusting, but I drank it anyway. When you're living under a bridge in the dead of winter, dignity becomes optional. My name's Lexie, but most people didn't bother to ask. To them, I was that girl in the alley, the one with tangled hair, duct-taped sneakers, and a shopping cart full of other people's trash. I wasn't always this way. Once upon a time, I had a name on a lease, a fridge full of groceries, and a future that didn't smell like piss and despair. But that was before the accident. Before the layoffs. Before the eviction. I lived in a city that chewed people like me up and spat us out on concrete pillows. San Diego, though sunny and beautiful on the outside, had a rot in its core if you looked deep enough, a rot I had become part of. It was on a Tuesday when my last sliver of hope finally cracked. I'd spent the morning digging through bins behind the guy who ran the register, Samir, used to give me expired burritos when no one was looking. But today, a new manager had taken over corporate, unfriendly, and full of rules. No food. No sympathy. He had the kind of face that looked like it had never cried. "Go," he said, waving me off like I was a fly. "I'll call the cops." I didn't argue. What was the point? That night, I curled up in my usual spot, a cardboard fortress near a sewer grate on 5th and Rosemont. The smell kept most people away, which made it feel safe, in a twisted way. I stared at the stars, letting the rumble of passing buses lull me into something like sleep. Then I heard it, the crinkle of a plastic bag. I flinched, clutching my knife, a dull box cutter I'd named Trusty, but it was just an old woman waddling by, muttering to herself. She dropped something near my feet and didn't stop to pick it up. Probably trash, I thought. Everything down here was, but it wasn't. It was a lottery ticket. One of those scratch-offs, the kind sold in convenience stores for $1. Bright orange, slightly torn, and completely unscratched. I should have tossed it. I was hungry, not stupid. What were the odds? But something stopped me. Maybe it was the hunger-induced delirium. Or maybe, just maybe, I wanted to believe in something again, even if it was just a stupid game. With shaking hands, I pulled a quarter from my pocket, a lucky one I'd kept for years. The last coin from my old life, and started scratching. First number, 13, second, 13, third, 13. Wait, I sat up, then came the prize amount, $10 million. I stared at it, laughed, cried, laughed again. No way. I whispered, no **ck'ing way. For the next hour, I sat there, rereading the rules, checking the numbers over and over. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly tore the ticket in half. I'd seen fakes before, but this one felt real. The serial number, the barcode, it all matched. I just had to get to the lottery office. Problem was, I looked like a walking cautionary tale. No ID, no address, no phone, no one to call. And I was certain if I walked into any government office, they'd assume I stole the damn thing. But I wasn't about to let $10 million slip through my fingers because I smelled like mildew and disappointment. So, I made a plan. $10 million. That number burned in my brain like a brand. It followed me into every thought, every movement. 10 million, enough to buy a penthouse, a new name, a damn spaceship if I wanted. But here I was, still huddled in filth, cradling a golden ticket, like it was my firstborn. I knew the city would eat me alive if I didn't move fast. I had to find someone, anyone, to help me cash the ticket. But not just anyone. Trust was hard currency out here, and most people were bankrupt, so I went to the one person who'd never stolen from me. Never judged, and never asked questions. Rico. Rico was a former Marine turned mechanic turned homeless philosopher. His beard was more matted than mine, and he always carried a half-empty bottle of Jack Daniels like it was an extension of his arm. But Rico had something no one else on the streets had: a code. You could trust him not to sell you out for a sandwich. I found him behind an old scrapyard, playing chess against pigeons. I swear to God, he believed they understood the game. "Rico," I whispered, "I need you to see something." He eyed me sideways, like I was asking to borrow his soul. "Lexie, if you found another dead rat and named it George, I'm not doing that again. No, this is serious." I pulled the ticket from my bra, the safest place I knew, and handed it to him. He held it like it was radioactive. "You steal this. I found it. A woman dropped it near my camp." He squinted. His hands, despite the dirt, moved with precision. You scratched this. Last night. He stared for a long time, then whistled, low and slow. Lexie, this is legit. This ain't no prank ticket. You know what that means. I nodded. It means I need to turn it in before someone else figures it out and murders me for it. Bingo. Rico had a plan. Of course he did. The man was a whiskey-fueled MacGyver when he wanted to be. First, I needed to clean up. No lottery office would let a half-dead junkie walk in and claim a prize. And unfortunately, I looked like exactly that. He took me to a place I didn't even know existed anymore, an abandoned public pool near the edge of the city. Somehow, the water still ran in the back showers. Freezing, brown-tinged water, but water nonetheless. We brought soap stolen from a hotel dumpster and a cracked mirror. It took 3 hours to scrub away the grime. I cut my own hair with rusted scissors, washed my clothes in the sink and hung them up to dry. Standing naked under a broken hairdryer Rico fixed using an old car battery. And when I looked in the mirror afterward, hollow cheeks, clean face, trembling hands, I almost didn't recognize myself, but I still didn't have ID, no proof. I existed. And that's when Rico said the words that made my stomach lurch. We need to find her. I knew exactly who he meant. Her name was Ramona. Once upon a time, she'd been a street lawyer, literally. She practiced law out of a folding chair under the freeway. Got people into shelters, helped them get IDs, sometimes even sued the city on their behalf. But after her wife died in a fire, she went off the grid. Rumor was she sold documents now, forgeries that passed as the real deal. If you had the right price or story, we found her in a condemned motel near the border, surrounded by paper stacks and broken clocks. She looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. You want a new ID? She rasped, lighting a joint with a matchstick that had someone's blood on it. That'll cost you. I don't have money, I said. But I have something better. I showed her the ticket. Ramona stared for a solid minute, then she laughed, the kind of laugh that sounded like it was trying to dig its way out of a coffin. Oh baby. You're not homeless anymore, are you? She said. You're a F***ing unicorn. She agreed to help me. Said she'd make a new ID, a temporary one, and coach me on how to walk into that lottery office like I belonged there. But not for free. What do you want? I asked. She tapped Ash onto a legal pad. I want in. When you cash that ticket, I want 2%. Not negotiable. I swallowed. That's $200,000. She smiled. Exactly, I'm betting on you. Don't F***ck it up. By the end of that week, I had a new name, Alexandra Ray. A fake but flawless ID, and a crash course on surviving government bureaucracy. I memorized my story like an actor prepping for Broadway. Born in Nevada, just moved to Cali, bought the ticket while visiting a cousin. The only thing left to do was go. And I was terrified. I carried the ticket in a Bible I found in a trash bin. Poetic, right? The Gospel of Luck. Rico insisted on walking me to the edge of the lottery office. Once you go in there, he said, you don't look back, you don't cry, you don't blink, you smile, you nod, and you act like you own the place. I nodded. Thank you. For what? For seeing me when no one else did. He grinned. Go get your F***ing crown, Lexie. I walked into that office shaking like a leaf. A woman in a pastel pantsuit greeted me behind bulletproof glass. Good morning, she said. How can I help you? I reached into the Bible and slid the ticket across the counter. I believe I just changed my life. The moment I stepped out of the lottery office, I wasn't Lexie from under the bridge anymore. I was Alexandra Ray, the newest millionaire in California, according to the paperwork. The check had more zeros than I'd ever seen in one place. $10 million. They took my picture, handed me a champagne bottle I didn't even open, and whispered things like, how does it feel to be lucky? And what will you buy first? They didn't ask me what it felt like to sleep with one eye open, or how many nights I'd cried into my own arm because I was the only pillow I had. I didn't care. I had one, but I didn't know yet that winning the lottery doesn't just give you money, it gives you enemies. It gives you attention. And if you're not ready for that, it eats you alive. Week 1, fantasy. The first thing I bought was a motel room. Nothing fancy, just a room with real soap, a working TV, and thick blackout curtains. I lay on the bed for 12 hours straight, just staring at the ceiling fan. Not spinning, just existing. Next came clothes. A new haircut, a phone. I bought Rico a Harley Davidson with a sidecar, and I swear he cried when I gave it to him. I rented a condo downtown. Clean, modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows that made me feel like a ghost floating in luxury. I filled the fridge with things I couldn't pronounce. Ramona got her 2% wired directly to an offshore account. She disappeared after that. I never saw her again. Then the vultures came. Week 2, Parasite started with a message request from someone claiming to be my cousin. Then another from a woman who said we'd shared a shelter once and bonded over pain. She wanted $50,000 to open a yoga studio. Journalists called. One even followed me home in a black van. He tried to offer me $5,000 for an exclusive interview about life on the streets. I told him to go eat glass, but it was the people I knew who hurt the most. Samir, the guy who used to slip me expired burritos, showed up at my building one night. I still don't know how he found me. Lexie, he said, I know I was rough on you that one time, but I could really use help with rent. My mom's sick. I wanted to believe him, but the way his eyes flicked to my purse when he thought I wasn't looking. I knew better. I gave him $1,000. Enough to feel human, not enough to bleed. He texted me 3 days later, asking for more. I didn't respond. Week 3, shadows of the past. I started seeing her in my dreams. Me, the old me, dirty, scared, teeth chattering in the cold. She would stare at me from across my marble countertops, mouthing things I couldn't hear. I started sleeping with the lights on. I hired a security team. They set up cameras, alarms, and a silent panic button under every table. Standard for high-profile lotto winners, they said. They didn't understand. I wasn't afraid of strangers. I was afraid of being seen again, of going back. Week 4. Rico disappears. I hadn't heard from Rico in 3 days. That wasn't like him. I tried calling. No answer. Went by the scrapyard. Nothing. His Harley was still there, but he was gone. I found a note under the tarp where he slept. Don't trust the suits. They see you as a wallet with legs. Keep your eyes sharp, kid. And whatever you do, don't forget where you came from. No signature. Just that. Week 5. The knock. It was 3:11 a.m. when someone knocked on my condo door. 3 slow knocks. No buzz. No announcement. I didn't move. Then came a voice. A woman's. Lexie, she said. I know you're in there. I just want to talk. My chest locked up. No one called me Lexie anymore. Not even me. Go away, I said through the door. She didn't. She just slid something under the door and walked away. I waited an hour before picking it up. It was a photo. Me asleep in the alley, curled under my cardboard. Vulnerable. Exposed on the back. Scribbled in red ink. Don't forget who's watching. Week 6. Paranoia. I fired the security team. I installed my own system. I stopped using real names. Started paying in cash when I could. I stopped drinking. Stopped going out. Stopped answering texts. I was rich. I was free. But I was not safe. That's when the phone rang. A blocked number. Hello, Ms. Ray. The voice said, we need to talk about your lottery winnings. We believe a mistake has been made. What kind of mistake? I asked, my stomach turning to ice. There was a pause. Then, we think the ticket might have been stolen. Stolen. That word hit me like a slap. The voice on the phone sounded polite. Almost friendly, but there was something surgical about it, cold, detached. As if he were reading my obituary aloud. I'm sorry, I said, gripping the receiver, tight enough to snap it. I don't understand. That ticket was found, not stolen. The original purchaser filed a report, the voice replied calmly. She claims she accidentally dropped it outside a 7-Eleven. We cross-referenced the surveillance. There's footage of a woman, possibly you picking it up, and she's lawyering up, says it was her ticket. That you found it and cashed it illegally. My brain was spiraling. But finders keepers, I whispered weakly. Isn't that something? In grade school, maybe. In court, the voice clicked its tongue. It becomes a legal nightmare. Click. They hung up. War begins. The lawsuit arrived 3 days later. A 27-year-old tech assistant named Danielle Rosen was suing me for the full value of the winnings, claiming emotional distress, financial loss, and unjust enrichment. Her lawyers were aggressive. They painted me as a con artist, a manipulative vagrant who took advantage of a naive young woman's oversight. The media latched onto it instantly. Lado, scammer, or survivor. From homeless to heartless. Justice. For Danielle, I went from a miracle story to public enemy #1 in 48 hours. The internet turned on me like a pack of rabid dogs. Reddit threads dissected my past. YouTubers made reaction videos. TikToks showed reenactments of me stealing the ticket. Strangers slid into my DMs with threats and gifs of burning bridges. It was hell. The truth behind the ticket. I needed to know who Danielle Rosen was. Turns out she had purchased the ticket. That much was real. But it got interesting after that. She bought 5 scratch-offs, scratched 4, left 1 unscratched in a crumpled receipt bag. Then, according to her own statement, dropped the bag while walking out. I found the ticket less than 2 hours later. I didn't know it had been hers. I didn't know anything about her. But now she wanted it all. Lawyer UPI found a beast named Cassidy Shore, a lawyer who specialized in PR disasters and moral gray zones. She wore red leather gloves indoors and smelled like fury wrapped in Chanel. This is a public execution, she told me, without preamble. They're not suing you, they're erasing you. I didn't steal it, I said. I didn't even know it belonged to anyone. Cassidy smiled. Doesn't matter, we'll fight it. But you need to decide right now. Are you playing defense or war? I paused. Then, war. Backlash. EI was followed, photographed. One day a man in a ski mask threw a bag of dog crap at my Porsche and screamed, "Give Danielle her money back." Rico was still missing. I sent someone to track him down. No leads. Even my doorman, Manny, the only person who ever smiled at me without dollar signs in his eyes, stopped looking me in the eye. The city was turning. Then Cassidy dropped the nuclear bomb. Danielle's lawyers offered a settlement. She said, "You give back 80%. Keep 2 million, walk away." I was quiet. Cassidy leaned forward. 2 million is still freedom, Lexie. I stared out the window. Rain hitting the glass like bullets. I already fought tooth and nail for freedom. I whispered, "I'm not giving it away because some girl lost her grip on a plastic bag." Cassidy grinned. "Good. Then let's make her wish she never found your name." The video. One night, alone, I watched the surveillance footage from the 7-Eleven. I needed to see it again, to know if I'd missed something. And that's when I noticed it. After Danielle dropped the bag, she walked away, but not casually. She ran. Like she was late, like she didn't even care. And when I picked up the ticket, a man was watching. A man in Ahu, ODIE.Zoom. Enhanced. It was Rico. But that wasn't possible. Rico returns 2 days later. I woke up to find Rico sitting in my kitchen, drinking my almond milk straight from the carton. "You son of a relax," he said. "Nice place. Where the hell have you been?" "Busy. Watching your 6. Lot of moving pieces." "Are you the one who sent me that photo?" I asked. "Of me on the street?" He didn't answer directly. Just raised an eyebrow. "Needed you ready, Lex? You were slipping, getting soft. You scared the *T out of me." "Good. You should be scared. People are playing for blood now." I sat down, heart pounding. "You knew about Danielle. I knew someone would come for you. People don't see stories, they see assets. And lawsuits are cheaper than bullets. Revenge. Served cold." Cassidy filed a counterclaim. We launched a campaign, Right to Redemption. We found footage of Danielle trash-talking homeless people on a podcast 2 years ago. They're lazy addicts who choose that life. We exposed her influencer deal. Turns out she was planning a heartbroken lotto girl. Merch line t-shirts. HASHTAGS. We turned the narrative. Lexie wasn't a thief. Lexie was the American FCKING. Dream. Asterisk. Then Danielle escalated. She posted my real name, photos from my past, shelter intake forms, a video of me crying, recorded without consent. "You want war," she said on her livestream. "I'll burn you down to the ashes you came from." And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, an anonymous envelope arrived. No return address. Inside, a printed screenshot. It was me. The moment I scratched the winning ticket, but standing behind me was a shadow tall, watching, hand outstretched. Someone else had seen it first. The photo shook me. There I was, a ghost of myself crouched over the winning ticket, scratching it with trembling hands. Behind me, half shrouded in shadow, a figure, watching. Close. Too close. He wasn't homeless, he was clean. Hood up, sneakers unscuffed, hands reaching forward as if to stop me, or maybe snatch it away. It wasn't Rico. It wasn't Danielle. So who the hell was it? The man in the shadows. Cassidy had her tech guy enhance the image. Track angles, reconstruct light source, facial recognition, the works. Result, unknown male. Approximately 6'2", late 30s. No ID match. But one detail stood out. The man had a tattoo on his left hand. A joker card, partially visible between his fingers. Cassidy swore. That's prison ink. Rico, sitting silently in the corner, finally spoke. I know who that is, he muttered. You know him. He's called Spade. He runs a little lottery hustle underground. Used to hang around Ramona before she ghosted. He pays people to buy tickets, scratch them, dump the losers, and accidentally misplace the winners. Then files claims using fake IDs, clean runners. I blinked. So the ticket wasn't Danielle's. Could have been his, or hers, or Ramona's. But if Spade saw you take it, then you took something from him. And people like Spade don't go to court. They go to war. The courtroom smelled like dry ink and expensive lies. Danielle sat across from me, dressed in white like she was on her way to a baptism. Her legal team came armed with graphs, statements, dramatics. They painted me as a cunning manipulator who exploited a moment of chaos. Cassidy struck back hard. She shredded Danielle's timeline, played her podcast quotes on a projector, showed receipts for her merch drops, hashtag, Justice for Danielle mugs, phone cases, candles. Then, Cassidy stood beside me, her red gloves gleaming under the fluorescence. My client was not a thief. She was a forgotten person who got one shot at salvation, and people like Ms. Rosen decided she didn't deserve it. That was the moment it shifted. The jury saw me, not the mugshot, not the headlines, me, the verdict after 3 brutal weeks. Case dismissed. Danielle's claim, rejected. Cassidy's countersuit for defamation, approved. I was awarded $2.5 million on top of what I already had. Danielle cried in the hall outside court. Paparazzi snapping every tear. I watched her through the window as she screamed at her Uber driver. The influencer mask had finally cracked. I didn't feel pity. I felt clarity. But Spade was still out there. The shadows hadn't forgotten me. Security cameras picked up a break-in attempt at my condo. No theft, no violence, just a card left on the floor of my living room. A joker. On the back, one word. Oh. I moved that night. Packed what mattered. Left the rest. Rico and I vanished. New names, new city, new lives. 1 year later. Live on the edge of the Mojave now. Big house, fenced land, dogs. Quiet. Too quiet. SOMETIMES. I built a shelter on the property. 10 beds. Hot meals, clean clothes. We don't ask questions, we don't take names. We just help. Because I know what it's like to need one thing to go right, and have the whole world laugh instead. They call me Ms. Ray, they don't know. I used to be Lexie. They don't know I used to eat rainwater and dream about dying in my sleep. They just know I give people a shot. Like someone once gave me. The final visitor on the anniversary of my win. I found a package at the gate. No postage. No return label. Inside. A single lottery ticket, unscratched. A silver coin. A note. Luck never comes free. But sometimes it comes twice. I stared at it for hours. Then I lit a match and burned it. Because I don't need luck anymore. I earned this life. I fought for this crown, and I'll burn anyone who tries to take it from me. The end.